Mm.
I, I have this nice show because these two individuals all about living healthy. TJ in the last maybe year has lost 200 pounds. Um, and watching some of your previous videos on your Instagram, Chris, I saw that you had lost 90 pounds, or 90 or 100 pounds. Um,
Incredible.
so
Wow.
yeah, so between the two of you, that is amazing to me. You
Yeah.
know, so I wanted you to come on and tell your story, tell your journey, and tell basically what's going on. And Chris has, like I said, Chris has the website. You have a book out. You have an app you're working on. I don't know if you're still working on the app. You have the app you're working on. I want to talk about that a little bit, promote that as well. So let's see, TJ. Oh, I just lost TJ. Okay, we'll start with Chris then. Chris, go ahead and tell us your situation, your journey, what's going on with you.
Well, my journey started. It's funny. It actually didn't start as a health journey. It started as like a spiritual journey. I was dealing with. I don't know if you would consider it clinical depression or whatever, but I was depressed,
Right.
and I didn't even realize how depressed I was, and I was heartbroken, and I felt I was at a place where I felt like really uncomfortable in my skin. So with all of these different things, I was like, either I gotta figure something out, or I don't know how I'm gonna live another 50 years in this body.
Wow.
So I really started seeking God. Like that was the impetus. Like I was like, okay, let me figure out what God is, who God is, because I feel like I don't know God, even though I was raised in the church. And
Mm.
through that journey, I stumbled upon another guy who was on a similar path, and he was studying different ancient texts, religious texts, but at the same time he was also using fasting for his health. And he was probably like 3 years or 4 years ahead of me in his journey, so there was a lot of information that I was able to absorb. But I was fascinated with what he was able to achieve. So I decided that I was going to start doing my own fasting, reading books, and then I stumbled across Dr. Sebi, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Once I locked into Dr. Sebi, that really started to show me how to eat. You know what I mean? And how we could use plants and herbs to heal and really replace our medicine, because that was the first medicine anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So when it all started, as far as the health journey, one of my best friends, he had been begging me to do this vegetarian diet for years. Like we grew up together. He's been a vegetarian for probably 20 years, and I was always like, nah, like I'm not really interested. But with everything that was happening at the time, I was just like, you know what? I'm willing to give it a try. Like I've never tried it. So it started with a challenge to myself. I was going to do 30 days of vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened at the same time, my brother was diagnosed with diabetes. He's pre-diabetic. So with everything that I was learning from Dr. Sebi at the time, I'm like, yo, instead of like starting medication and going down this path that the doctors laid out for you, come with me. Let's do a little fasting. Let's play with our diet a little bit, and let's see if we can reverse this.
Mm-hmm.
So I did 1 month of vegetarian, and I lost weight, but it wasn't like I lost a ton of weight, but I lost weight in problematic areas. Like I lost weight in my side, my obliques, and my chest, and that's probably was the most impactful thing, because I was like, man, all I did was stop eating meat, and I've been trying to lose weight in these areas for years. I've never been able to do it. All I did was stop eating meat.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I was just like, okay, cool. I'm probably never gonna stop eating meat, but I'm definitely not gonna eat it as much, because I had that experience. Then after that, we probably did a little playing with the diet for about maybe a month to 3 months. And then we decided, let's do some fasting. So I wanted to do 30 days. No, actually, I wanted to do 40 days. I was like, if Jesus did 40 days, I could do 40 days.
Okay.
So
Well,
my first fast, I was like, yo, I'm gonna knock out 40 days.
right.
My brother John, he was like, well, I'm gonna do like 8 or 10 days. And I actually didn't make it 40 days. I made it 13 days. But during that time, I documented. I was like taking notes, you know what I mean? Like every day. And what I noticed was, even though I wasn't focused on weight because I was just so uncomfortable, like I had an infection that I had been fighting for 10 years. The doctors were like, we don't know what it is, but here's some drugs. Try this. That might work. They gave me every drug, every antibiotic they had. Nothing worked.
Making you the guinea pig.
Exactly. And that's when it hit me. I was just like, yo, they're really practicing on me. Like they don't
know
know.
Practice. That's why it's called a practice.
That's exactly right. It finally hit me. I'm like, oh, that's why they call it a practice. And so I lost I think I lost like 30 something pounds in that 12, 13 days. Blew me away. But the most impactful thing that I experienced was the irritation that I would traditionally feel from this infection was gone. And at that point, I was hooked, because up until that point, I was like, yo, I'm gonna have to deal with this for the rest of my life, and it's so uncomfortable. So I didn't have a choice. I had to keep going.
Wow. And it's funny that you tell this story, because TeAma has a similar story, because she followed your journey and followed your site. And TeAma, share your story with the cancer.
Well, I am what you call a B mutation. I have beat cancer 6 times. I did 3 rounds of chemo, 3 rounds of radiation. The last 3 times I did not do chemo. So the last time I got on steroids, I blew up. My best friend would tell you that's the first time me ever knowing that I could gain weight. I had my son 23 years ago, went right back small as I'll get out. So 2010, my oldest sister died of cancer, colon cancer. 2015, I wound up getting colon cancer. So Miss Shirley McDaniel, she knows my mom. She was like, listen, she need to stop eating. I looked at her ass like, girl, bye. It didn't make sense to me, because she was like, I need to stop eating. So I'm like, Miss Shirley, you cray. If I stop eating, I won't be here. So she was like, no, for real, if you stop eating, I promise you'll see different changes. So it's this girl named Anna, this lady. Well, she not a girl. All these people I'm naming to y'all, they old enough to be my mom. They're my mom's friends. They're like, listen, what you put in your body is what's killing you. So first I went in, I did 3-day fast. I was like, okay, this really not the beat. So she was like, no, you got to keep at it. So she gave me little tricks and trades. So next thing I know, I was on 10 days. So I'm like, let's go. My best friend like, what you doing to lose weight? I say, I'm fasting. So that's how I pulled Anya in, and she knew that I was going through cancer and everything. So she was like, we could do this. I literally did 45 days, no eating. Mine wasn't about the weight, but of course the weight fell off. And lo and behold, between that and I still was taking Immunical, which is it's basically like mother's breast milk in natural form. So literally 45 days, no eating, and my cancer melted off.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty much.
That's our best friend sitting next to you.
Above you. So
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I pulled her in with me, but Miss Shirley Daniels is who pulled me in.
Oh
Interesting.
yeah.
I couldn't make it 40 days, Chris. I couldn't make it 40 days.
That's serious.
Yeah.
How long did you
Yeah, I
do
was hallucinating by day 3.
dreaming of food?
Yes.
She was tripping. She was seriously hardcore tripping.
How long did
Right.
you do T Savage?
I only did a few days, but it jump started my weight loss because, like I was saying earlier, after the first 3 days, I had lost 15 pounds. I couldn't believe. I started off at 305 and I ended up at like 270 something by the time it was over. So I do have a question for you, Chris.
Hey, I'm here for it.
When you fast, do you always incorporate spirituality with it, or do you just fast?
You know, that's interesting. I haven't got a question like that in a while.
Okay.
There is no separating the two. So
Okay.
it's a holistic practice. You may choose not to focus on it, but it's happening regardless of your focus or not. And that's really like the most powerful thing about the practice of fasting. It doesn't care what your beliefs are. It doesn't care, where your focus is. It's given the body the opportunity to repair and heal in the most efficient way possible. And a lot of the damage that we've done to ourselves isn't just physical. It's not just what we put in our body, but it's what we say to each other. It's what we how we allow people to talk to us, or even the music we listen to, the TV we watch. All of those things have an impact too. And then, of course, if you've ever had any trauma in your life and you didn't properly release it, the body's holding on to that too. All of these things can cause damage, and you could be holding on to trauma from when you was a child that's now manifesting itself as cancer or a tumor or an ulcer. So the beautiful thing about fasting is it's a spiritual process, because we are not just simply flesh and blood, right? Now, scientifically speaking, we are energetic creatures. When you think about the way the brain talks to the rest of the body, it's sending energetic signals. So that lets you know that we're energetic creatures. And of course, the soul of man is really, that's what animates us. The breath of life, or however you kind of want to look at it. So fasting is a holistic practice. It affects every aspect of our being.
Okay. TJ, are you with us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. TJ, tell us your story, because like I said, TJ is a friend of mine, and I've been knowing TJ for quite some time, for many, many years. I have an online business, exoticoilmasters.com, shameless plug. But in my business, I sell designer fragrances, oils, lotions, shower gels, bubble baths, and TJ is a frequent flyer, and he wears my product. So in knowing TJ, I noticed that he had lost a tremendous amount of weight, and he was telling me a little bit about his journey. So I invited TJ on also to tell his story, because he's lost 200 pounds in probably a year or under. So TJ, tell us your story.
All right. Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let me pull up. Well, when I first, I in the beginning, I didn't, hold on, let me park. So I was trying to get to my Wi-Fi. It was not connected. All right. I'm parked.
Yeah, you got to park. We need you to be safe.
I'm on the phone. You right? Y'all can hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. My journey started actually a couple years ago. What happened is I was, I love watching 600 Pound Life. I love watching 600 Pound Life, and I see how the people, they wait till they got older to try to do something about it. And in my family, the same stuff that they go through, whether it's high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, and cancer. So me growing up, me being diagnosed with those things, saying, you know what, TJ, it's okay to have those things because it runs in my family. So one day I just woke up and I was like, TJ, you need to invest in yourself because I was unknowingly investing into McDonald's and all those other fast food restaurants. And me, I love Coca-Cola. So then I said, let me just go. Even before I had my weight loss surgery, I lost 32 pounds. And nobody knew that I was actually that big. I was 458 pounds. I'm 258 now. So I lost a little bit over, and it fluctuates. It goes from 258 to 255. My problem is I still drink ginger ale and Coca-Cola, but not how
So you lost the whole human.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
about two humans,
yeah,
two skinny humans.
yeah,
Wow.
I lost a
Wow.
lot.
So,
And
so
then a lot of
how long has it been since you had your surgery?
I had my surgery 2018.
Okay, 2018.
2018, like the first week of me having my surgery, I lost 20 pounds. And like the first month I lost 40 pounds because I kept myself on liquid protein, even though the doctor told me not to. I just didn't want to, eat the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. So that's why I kept myself on liquid protein. I had no hard food for over a month until the doctor said, TJ, at least try something to what's the name, because you need to put some type of hard food in your
System.
stomach, in your system to make you to get it used to it. Because the longer you wait, even though you're healing, the longer you wait, the longer you're gonna end up getting sick. Like me and they told me like beef was gonna be my problem. Beef not my problem, pork my problem. Pork make me sick. If I don't chew it up good, I cannot digest pork.
Mm.
And I was on like different.
I actually commend you, TJ, because I see you a lot, even on Facebook, social media. I mean,
Yeah,
I think you're in the gym constantly.
yeah.
And when you're not in the
Okay.
gym, I see you running up and down. I think you did like, what was it, 3 miles the other night or something, running
Yeah,
through the city.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
We
can't
did 3 miles the other night. Yeah,
I can't run 3 blocks, and you did 3 miles.
Three man.
Hats off to you. And then not only that, the bridge in River Beach, I see you running across the bridge, and that's a tough bridge to go over. And you don't do it once, you do it multiple times. And then once you
Three
do,
yes,
miles.
then you go to the bottom of the bridge, and then you're doing exercising and working out and this. And I'm like, Jesus, so you're determined, and
yeah,
you're actually an inspiration to a lot of people. And I gotta
yeah.
tell
And a lot of times the people they say, TJ, what keep you going? Keep going. I tell them two things. I say my grandma for one, because my grandma she beat breast cancer, but she later died passed for thyroid cancer, and I had to constantly take my grandma to the doctor for chemo radiation. And
Mhm.
my grandma said, "Teacher, I ain't gonna give up. I ain't gonna give up. This cancer may take me, but I ain't giving up. I ain't giving up." So she said, that's what kept me going to hear her say.
Hey, Ruth.
She kept no matter how tough it got, she kept going and she kept going and she kept going. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same thing with me. It's tough for me a lot of days. It's a lot of days like
you
stuff
never
that I
come
used
this
to.
far on the screen.
Ruth says,
So
TJ, I've seen you before and now, and I'm so proud of you.
thank you. I ain't got my glasses. I can't see that good.
It's okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna read it to you.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
okay.
you.
I have a
All right.
question
Thank
for
you.
you, TJ.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
with all of the weight that you lost, do you find it hard to deal with the excess skin and trying to tighten it up? Because I know when
Yeah.
you lose weight, if you're heavy, your skin, the some of the fat is gone, but the skin is still there because it's been stretched. So
Right.
did you
Right.
find it hard to tighten it back up, or did you have like a surgical procedure, or you just did a bunch of workouts and it kind of got back right where you
I
wanted
was
it?
my thing is I waist train at nighttime. I wish like I sleep in a waist trainer. Even though they tell you not to sleep in a waist trainer, I sleep in a waist trainer. So for me to have lost over 200 pounds, you can't you can't really tell. And like my upper body, since I just hired a trainer,
Mm-hmm.
from January to now, like me, like you got to go on my page. I be flexing now. You know what I'm saying? Because like I got collarbone now. You know.
You can't tell TJ nothing.
You know. No,
I
you
know
can't
that's
tell me
right.
nothing. You couldn't tell me when I was 458. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to
But
tell
my
you,
thing,
still
it's
fine.
just thank you, thank you, thank you. And my thing is, I love it. I love like me when a lot of people they say, TJ, let me go walking with you. I don't usually walk with people because that's my time I meditate. That's the time I usually meditate and I talk to myself. I listen to my R&B music, my church music, like, and then when I'm walking with somebody else, you got to move to their beat and all the others. I'll work out with anybody, but I won't walk with everybody. I don't walk. I don't walk with everybody.
And
Like me,
I
my problem is. Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I said my problem is my arms. They call them back wings.
Cause they hang.
Yeah, they hang. Like this part, this I don't even know the muscles, but this right here, that's forming. But that under part ain't tighten up nothing. It ain't going nowhere.
Chris, I actually added TJ into your group also. So TJ is a follower of your group as well, of your
Yes.
page.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say the with the loose skin, that's a question that I get a lot too, and that's one of the things that was so beneficial about what I was teaching was we don't see a lot of loose skin. Now, it happens. It's not a perfect process, but if a lot of the stories that you'll see on my channel, they're not dealing with loose skin, and the reason why is because when you do a surgery versus fasting, those are two completely different techniques. Both are going to shock the body, but you get the benefit of autophagy when you do fasting. And the autophagy is really what's breaking down that extra protein, because the loose skin is, it's protein. So it's breaking down that extra protein. The body is pretty much reutilizing those cells or redistributing them other places. But the key for loose skin is hydration. That's
Yes.
like the key. So, for anybody who's like nervous about loose skin, or if you're dealing with loose skin, or you got them problematic areas where it just won't go away, your focus needs to be hydration. But like the thing about hydration is it's not as simple as just drinking water. Everybody thinks hydration means drink a gallon of water, but what most people don't understand is the body doesn't process water um, as efficiently as we might assume. So if you think about, like, let's say you got your gallon of water and you're like, I want to drink this gallon today. Maybe it's like 5 p.m. and you're slacking. You ain't, you still got more than half the gallon left to go. So you just start guzzling it, right? In the next 30 minutes to an hour, you're going to be peeing. So all that water you just drank is just going right in the toilet. See, we don't think about that. We just don't connect the dots. You're just peeing the water out. That's not hydration. Hydration is the water being absorbed into the cells. So you got to imagine your skin cells were able to stretch as you got bigger, but the elasticity is lost because you're dehydrated. And that's also where wrinkles come from, and some of the signs of old age. They're really just dehydration.
Okay, so I have another question, Chris. Now, I don't want to sound stupid. I'm a teacher, but I don't know everything. What is autophagy?
It's a process. It's like recycling. It's like a recycling process. So the
Okay.
body will um, break down damaged cells, or repurpose cells that if you have cells that are becoming mutated or diseased or whatever the case may be, it'll break it down and pretty much rebuild it. It's it's
And
a it's like, huh?
go ahead.
Oh, it's a natural process that the body does, but over time, as the cells and the bodies become more overtaxed, it doesn't do it as efficiently. And
Okay.
really, we don't give our body much time for it to do this process, because when you eat constantly like we do in our society, the body doesn't have the energy to do this. Like it doesn't have the resources to do this. That's the biggest problem. And that's what makes fasting so powerful, is that you're giving the body, you're allowing it the energetic resources to go through these processes. And the crazy thing about it is the lifespan of the cell can be increased by going through this process as well.
Now you
Because
stated, oh, go ahead. I thought you was my bad. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
You stated that drinking water is not a way to rehydrate, because the water you're just urinating it out. So what is your recommendation for a person that wants to become rehydrated? What do you recommend that we do in order for our cells to absorb the water instead of just releasing it through our urination process?
Okay, so let me provide a little clarity. Drinking water isn't pointless. It's just
Right.
not efficient, but it's a good starting point for those who just don't know what else to do. Like if you aren't drinking half a gallon to a gallon of water every day, that's a good starting point, because your body will process about 3% of the water you drink. So that's it.
Oh,
So if you're drinking a 16-ounce bottle, you're getting 3% of a 16-ounce versus 3% of a gallon. So it is beneficial, but it takes energy and resources for the body to structure that water and
right.
make it usable by the body. The most efficient way to actually hydrate is by eating your water.
Meaning
So,
through like watermelon that has a lot of water, stuff that contains a lot of water is what you mean?
yep.
Oh,
So watermelon, oranges, apples, cucumbers, plants in general, they contain what's called cellular water. It's okay. So like we were taught, so you're a teacher, right?
Yes.
We're taught 3 phases of water, right? Solid, liquid, gas. The reality is there's actually 4 phases.
Mm.
So I put it like this. Have you ever made Jell-O?
Yes.
All right. Can we all agree Jell-O's like 99% water?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. So we make Jell-O and it's water. It's 99% water. But if you stab it with a knife, water doesn't come spewing out of it,
No.
right? That's
No.
because it's in that 4th phase of water. And that's what your cells utilize. Your cells don't use H2O. It uses cellular water, the 4th phase of water. There's many different ways. People describe it different ways. It's just not what you drink. But the plants make it. They manufacture it readily. If you've ever seen like on a tomato seed, how it has like that gelatin around the seed,
Mhm.
that's what we're talking about. It's kind of like a gel or gelatin. The tomato seed does that so that you can't easily like bite into the seed, because you're not supposed to eat the seed. You're supposed to
Right.
you take it in, but you're supposed to poop it out, and then it'll fertilize it and whatever. Chia seeds. Chia seeds are a good example too. If y'all ever put like some chia seeds in water, they swell up and they get these little water globs around them. And that's actually a really good trick. So like if you have trouble eating a lot of water, you can put chia seeds in your drinking water, and that'll make it more hydrating.
Chia. You remember that commercial?
Yeah.
Chia. I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but this is very interesting to me. When I was going through my little piece of journey, I ate a lot of watermelon because I know it was low in calories, but it was full of water. Is there a such thing? Hi, Miss Melanie. Is there a
Hey,
such
Mom.
thing as eating too much watermelon or too many cucumbers? Because when I tell you I tore that watermelon up, I was at Winn-Dixie, buy one get one free every day buying watermelon. It's like back again, more watermelon. So is there such thing as eating too much watermelon or too much of a fruit or vegetable?
That's an excellent question. Most of the times when people fear eating too much fruit, it's because they're typically dealing with like diabetes, and their doctor will warn them, hey, if you don't want to be eating a whole bunch of fruit because of the sugar content.
The natural sugar, yeah.
Right. Now, so I'll answer your question simply. No, there isn't too much eating watermelon, but I'll elaborate.
Okay.
When the doctor says don't eat so much sugar, what they're really talking about is processed sugar, refined
Right.
sugar,
And
you
stuff
know,
that turns into sugar, right?
stuff that rice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Carbs.
That
The good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really the problem. Fruit sugar is actually good for you because fruit is our natural, it's our natural food. So I always ask people, if you had, let's say you were in the jungle, you butt naked, you ain't got nothing but your hands, and you have 3 options of food in front of you, okay?
My type of party. We naked.
You got a pig, you have a bushel of kale, and you have a mango to choose from.
I'm about to kill Porky. I'm about to kill Porky.
You don't have no tools. You don't have no tools. You don't have fire. You don't have anything. Okay.
Mango.
What's going to be the most? What's the most desirable? What's the easiest? What's going to be the most attractive?
The mango.
To me, it would be the mango because of the sugar. It's going to give me energy, and it's going to digest easy because it's natural sugar.
And you don't have to prepare it. It's ready to go right now.
Right.
The pig sounds like a good option. We know that thing tastes good, but you're not about to bite into the hide of a pig. You got to cut it. You got to kill it. You got to cut
Clean it. Got to cook it. And then I'm going to be passed out by then. So, yeah.
Right. And so now if I ask a lion that same question, which one do you think it's going to choose?
He's going to be.
It's going to eat that pig. It's going to bite right into the hide of the pig. And so what we have to understand is, although we're being taught that we are omnivores or carnivores or whatever people are being taught, the reality is if you're set and if you're in a situation where you got a mango, a pig, and a bushel of kale, no tools, you can't cook it, none of them options, you're always going to take the mango. That's our natural food. So it has everything we need. I think it's absurd that doctors tell you that you shouldn't eat that. Right now, there's one last piece I want to add to this, and this is like about calories. Another concern people have with like overeating or eating too much fruit is they just think, oh, it's too much food, it's too many calories or whatever. I challenge people to eat 3,000 calories of oranges. Go get you 3,000 calories worth of oranges. You won't be able to do it, or you're gonna be on the toilet all day long, because the body will very readily process and utilize and assimilate an orange, and it'll pass the excess. So you really can't overeat on fruit and things like that, because the body's gonna break it down, do what it's got to do, and it's gonna pass it. You can overeat on a Snickers bar, because you got a Snickers bar. Well, I don't know, what is it, like 240 calories per serving, and one little Snickers bar has like 3 or 4 servings. So how easy is it to eat 3 or 4 Snickers bars and get 2,000 or 3,000 calories? Right?
Easy.
But it's easy. So we really have more leniency with the fruits and the vegetables, because you really can't. They're not as dense as the other processed foods and things we eat.
Right. So, how do you feel about apple cider vinegar? Because a lot of people, they swear by apple cider vinegar, but like I go to my grandma's house sometimes, she be like you pick it up some way. You been drinking the apple cider vinegar and fresh garlic? I'm like, no, I ain't been drinking that. Who walk around drinking
gift to us?
Apple cider vinegar and chewing on fresh garlic cloves with hot breath? But I did purchase some of those little gummies called Golies. They're supposed to curb your appetite or whatever. But I just wanted to know your opinion about the apple cider vinegar. I know it's good for a lot of things, but how do you feel about it personally?
That's a good question. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Yeah. I mean, I love questions. I'm gonna keep it
Okay.
real with y'all. Apple cider vinegar has benefits. That's undeniable. Do I swear by it? Do I think you should be taking it every day? Is it a cure-all? No. None of the above. So here's my thing.
Hold on 1 second. We have a comment from Melanie. My
That's all
daughter
right.
has learned so much from you. She has told so many people. Your group has saved her life. I thank God for you and your knowledge. So that's a blessing for you, Mr.
Thanks,
Chris.
Mom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
Appreciate that, and yeah, I'm so happy. It like that's everything to me. To be able to hear that, some information that I provided is helping people. And if you do the work, if you apply the knowledge, then you're gonna get the results, and that means everything. I appreciate you sharing that.
Like Anya will tell you, my mom, Melanie Cobb, that is my mother. My
Oh,
mom, literally, by the time me and Anya was in high school, my mom was like 575 pounds. My mom now is at like 320.
wow.
So she does the intermittent fasting. She still will tell you, I don't know how my daughter could ride out without eating. Easy.
Well, I want to go back to the apple cider vinegar. I really need some clarification because I tried the apple cider vinegar with I think it was cayenne pepper and some garlic, and I had a bottle of it, and I drunk it. I was working at the college then as an advisor, and I drank it, and within 30 minutes, I was on that toilet, and I couldn't get off that toilet for a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was like, I mean, this is a podcast. We very open. I don't mind. Everybody go to the bathroom. It is what it is. It was like somebody cut on my faucet in the back, and it was just liquid. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I wanted to go home and take a bath and bleach. It was terrible. I was like, listen, I got to go.
Yeah. A lot of people use it for detoxification purposes, to flush. And the reason why the reason it's beneficial is because most of us are carrying around anywhere to 10 to 20 pounds of excess fecal matter at any given time, right? So you're going to see benefit from flushing your system in that manner. Also, something that, if most of us are out of balance, that's what we're dealing with. Our microbiome is out of balance. And you can use antibiotics or things that kill off bacteria, and you can use probiotics. And essentially what we're trying to do is play God. We're trying to create balance in our system. So you can use many different products like garlic, will kill it'll kill some stuff. Garlic is really, really powerful. So yeah, if you have like an imbalance of bacteria, meaning you have an overgrowth of bacteria, yeah, you could use garlic. You could use apple cider vinegar. You could use it to kill this stuff off, but then you got to come back through with a probiotic to help balance it off, because it doesn't really discriminate. It kills bacteria. And
good or bad, right?
that's the problem. There's no such thing as good or bad bacteria.
Okay.
Where that came from germ theory. And see, that's the problem with germ theory, is that it teaches us that there are certain bacteria that are bad, and those bacteria cause disease in the body. But that's not true. See, we are 10 times more bacteria than we are human cells. So we're more bugs and parasites than we are human. So we have there's a very unique balance between us and the germs. There's many germs that protect you. So, hey, we're on a podcast. We're keeping it real. The vagina has all this bacteria down there, and it protects you. It keeps it clean. It keeps it healthy. When it becomes out of balance, right? You have an overgrowth of yeast. Now you have infection, and you think, oh, I'm infested with yeast or whatever. I got to get rid of all the yeast. No, you need to bring the yeast in balance.
So you need
supposed to be there.
The probiotic.
Well, that's the problem. We use the antibiotic to kill off the bacteria. Then we come back with the probiotic to put the bacteria back there, but we don't do a good job of creating this balance. So that's
Balance.
why I'm not a huge fan of using apple cider vinegar and garlic and
Right.
certain things. It's not that
Okay.
it doesn't work. It's that, how do I know how to balance that? What do I know what the
We
population?
don't. Right. We didn't go to medical school.
Chris,
So-
let me ask. I have a question. Now, someone was telling me, I can't remember where I got this information from, but they were saying that basically, for example, if a person, let's say they die of a heart attack, what you're dying from is the inflammation of their heart, and that's what caused the heart attack. So the water fast on a 45-day or a 90-day or a year or however long an individual does it, what there's, correct me if I'm wrong again, is that was taking inflammation out of the body.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So if you could cure your body of the inflammation, which causes various diseases, various ailments, various sicknesses, then you could basically just heal the body.
Pretty much.
Mm.
If you, depending on who you listen to, there's like 2 or 3 causes of disease that people will talk about. They'll say inflammation is the cause of all disease. They'll say mucus is the cause. They will say that all disease starts in the gut. It just depends on who you're listening to and what they're selling.
Right.
The reality is, based on my research, it's cellular dehydration that is at the core of all of the disease, and then everything else is kind of a repercussion of that. So when the body is dehydrated, what does it do? Because the body is infinitely intelligent. We don't give the body enough credit. We think we have to medicate, and it is self-healing. So
Yeah.
when it is dehydrated, it holds on to water. So and then what the doctor does is he comes through and he says, "Oh my God, you're holding on to all this water. Here's a diuretic so you can release the water." Now you're going against what the body is doing, because you don't understand what the body is doing. And now you have this struggle of what the body is looking to do and what man is looking to do, and you're not in alignment. So to really combat inflammation, you need hydration. Hydration, because the body is screaming, "I need water." That's why you're so inflamed. You know?
That makes a lot of sense, Chris. It really does. I have another question. How do you feel about products like Mago? Do you know what Mago 7 is?
No.
Okay, Mago 7 is digestive cleansing and detox. And
Okay.
it basically only has 3 ingredients. I believe it's magnesium, potassium, and citric acid. So how do you feel about these products that they claim they're natural or whatever, but to assist in the weight loss journey? Because when I was doing my thing, I used Mago 7, and you would just take between 3 to 5 pills every night before you go to bed. It depends on how much you want to go. And it doesn't cramp you, but you wake up and you immediately go into the toilet, and you go on at least 4 times before 12. You in the bathroom at least 4 times. Not uncomfortably, like citrate magnesium makes you, but you on the toilet and it's all coming out. So how do you feel about products like that assisting in the weight loss journey as well?
Okay. When it comes to products, I'm not a fan of any product that isn't like made from a whole food.
Right.
It's okay to use them, but you don't remember that product, it would be a treatment, meaning that product is not going to fix your digestive system. Right? Like you have the problem is that your digestive system is all clogged up. There's plaque, there's mucus, it's damaged. You might have holes in your digestive system. And so you're not having bowels like you're supposed to. So the product is irritating your system and causing you to dump and release. You can only do that for so long before you know, you could use a product like that, and if you use it in moderation, you could probably use it for a long period of time, and it won't really hurt you. If you overuse it, best believe you're going to damage your system.
Right.
And the real problem is you're basically taking a pill to heal you, and it's impossible. You can never heal using a pill. You have to change your lifestyle and your actions. So I'm not against it. I'm not saying don't use stuff like that. I'm saying be wise. There's always a whole food product that you could use that will do the same thing, right? Like, and when I say whole food, you know, I'm saying like herbs are fine, right? You could grind up herbs, put them in a capsule, and they'll give you the same result. So you just got to be careful with products like that, side effects, and they might not be readily available. You might be able to use it for a year and be fine. Even with herbs, you got to be careful, because what most people don't understand, and you probably never hear this, herbs are poisonous. Like, all herbs are poisonous. They work on a premise of stimulating the body. So you use an irritant to stimulate the body, and it gives you a particular result. Particular result. You know, your desired result. Irritating your stomach it's not a good thing, but it can be used as a benefit if you need to evacuate your stomach.
Right.
So herbs, remember that herbs are for the healing of the nations. It's not for daily use. It's not, you know what I mean? We're not supposed to replace our food with herbs. And that goes back to the apple cider vinegar thing. If we need to use apple cider vinegar every day, it's because we're not doing the right things lifestyle wise.
Okay. What foods do you recommend to get rid of things like, I know you mentioned parasites earlier. What natural foods do you recommend? Well, of course, it's natural food, but what do you recommend to get rid of parasites if a person wants to get rid of parasites, or to see if they have parasites?
We all have parasites.
So what?
Yeah. It's, once again, we are there 10 times. There's 10 times more bacteria and parasites and stuff than human cells in our body. So we all got it. It's what type of parasites, right? Do we have worms? The goal is, we don't want an imbalance of really dangerous parasites. But what makes the parasites dangerous, it's not the parasite itself. Because remember, the quote unquote bad parasites, what do they feed off of? Do you think bad parasites feed off of fresh apples and oranges? Or do you think it feeds off of a pizza and Snickers and ice cream?
It feed off that pink meat from McDonald's. That's what it feed off of.
The pink meat from McDonald's. So we look at the parasites as the enemy. But guess what? If that parasite wasn't in you, you'd be dead. The bacteria and the parasites are breaking down that garbage you're putting in your system to a place where it's easier for the body to deal with. And then the body will do the best it can to evacuate it. But the parasites are there because of the poor eating habits, but they're there to aid you. But we look at it as they're a bad thing. So the goal to get rid of the parasites is change your eating habits. It's just like cancer, right? Cancer, people say that the toxic food, sugar and stuff feed cancer. It's not that it's feeding cancer, it's that cancer eats it.
Right.
Okay, and let me say that again. The sugar is not feeding cancer. Cancer is eating the sugar. It's helping you. We look at cancer as the bad guy, right? If you the fight against cancer, the battle against cancer, the war on cancer, I beat cancer. Cancer is your body's natural response to overtoxicity of the body. So cancer is natural, but cancer comes as a way to prolong life, not to steal life.
Right.
We're looking at it the wrong way. We're working against the body. So if you have cancer, you have a growth, and you go and you cut that thing out, what the body was doing is collecting all of the mutated cells, all the garbage in one place, and it was quarantining it. You cut it out. Cool. Cancer's gone. Tumor's gone. Why does it grow back? Because you didn't change any of your habits. You're still
You're
eating the
doing the
trash,
same thing, right?
right? You haven't properly detoxed your system, so on and so forth. So um, we don't want cancer, but what's causing cancer? It's the sugar, right? So
Right.
when you stop eating the refined sugar, when you stop eating the carcinogenic foods, meat, you know, the meat has meat glue and they do all this stuff to make it look pretty. That meat, you know, been dead. That thing's been dead for months, and you eat it, and but it looks fresh. How? Because it's got all preservatives.
Oh, why you say it like that? Now I'm gonna have to throw my meat out.
That meat been dead for 2 years, and you eating it, and it looks fresh.
No, not until years. Oh God.
You know. So
Yeah.
the body uses cancer to break that stuff down, to compartmentalize, to quarantine that, so that at some point in time, when you get your stuff together, it'll let it go. And that's the reason why Sweetness was able to get rid of her cancer with fasting, because it's like once you stopped putting all that crap in you, the body was like, all right, boom, cancer, you did your job. We're good. Let it go.
Chris, you wrote a book. Can you tell us about your book and how can they find it?
Right. So the book, I released it back in September. It's called Metamorphosis, A Journey to Holistic Wellness. And it talks a little bit about my story, like, where I started and how I kind of established the wellness brand. And then it really talks, it's a really easy read. It's good for like beginners, people who, have a lot of the questions like, fasting is new. Like fasting's new to a lot of people. So it breaks it down in a very easily digestible format and explains what it is, how it works, the benefits. And then of course we talk about hydration. We talk about essential oils, because you could use essential oils to replace most of your medications, right? Most of the things that we use as like pills, medications, that stuff all is derived from plants anyway. So let's go back to the source, right, and start using essential oils and things of that nature in the place of our medications. And it just gives you a really well-rounded view of what it will look like to walk this health journey.
Speaking of the natural herbs and I have high blood pressure, and back in February, March, I ran out of medication, and I no longer had benefits, and I wasn't working. So I started doing the sea moss, drinking more water, black seed oil, and I did that for probably February up until November. And I have a severe case of high blood pressure. Usually in about 2 weeks, if I don't have medication, I'm in the hospital. So when I finally went to the hospital in November, they're saying, "What medications are you on?" I said, "Well, I'm not on any. I haven't had any medication since like February." They're like, "No, seriously, what medication you on?" And they were like, "I did not believe that, me taking, the natural sea moss, and I was taking the pills, sea moss, as well as the gel, and then I was taking the black seed oil, the liquid, not the pill, which tastes horrible, but it was doing what it's supposed to do."
Right.
And also there was a mixture that I used to take. It was like turmeric and something else that was mixed in warm water and drink that every night, which was like a natural detox. So between all of that for them 8-9 months or whatever, I'm still here. And the doctors was like baffled and could not believe that. So yeah, you're absolutely right that the natural herbs and everything does help and does work.
Oh yeah, it's one of the first things I realized was that the body was self-regulating. So like if you look at a gorilla in nature or a lion or whatever, they don't have high blood pressure, cancer, diabetes. They don't get these diseases. The ones in the zoo get them. So what's the difference between the ones in the zoo and the ones in wild? It's what they're eating. The ones in the wild, they're eating wild animals. They're eating fresh fruit and vegetables and fish. The ones in the zoo are getting dog food. Like we feed our dogs dog food. What is that? That's not what's the natural food that a dog should eat. That's the reason why your dog has cataracts and diabetes and cancer, because you feed them dog food. So they get the same diseases that humans get. So
Wow.
the right the body will take care of you if you believe in it. Now, here's the trick. Doctors have been educated to believe, well, doctors are usually told the body is the only thing that does the healing. But somehow through the pharmacology that they take, they really forget that. They forget that the body is the only thing that does the healing, and everybody is really just talking about pills, pills, pills. Because let's say I got a cure for diabetes, right? Let's say I got a cure for diabetes, and it is in a pill form, which would probably never happen, but let's just say it did. Let's say you have a cadaver that had diabetes. If I give that pill to the cadaver, will it lose its diabetes? No, it's dead. The body's dead. The body has to do the work. There's no way that a pill can ever heal anybody of anything. It's always the body. So,
Right.
yeah, the essential oils are real good for high blood pressure, but once you get it under control, now you got to stop eating the foods that's causing you to have the high blood pressure.
Right.
You want to get the plaque cleared out your system, because high blood pressure is not a bad thing. It's what's causing you to have high blood pressure. That's the problem.
What you're eating, what you're digesting.
Back in, I think it was November, I believe, and you could correct me on this also. You were mentioning you had breaking news. You have an app coming.
Oh yeah.
So you want to tell us about your app?
Yeah, I made a big deal about the app. The group's been asking me for an app for like 2 years, and we started development last summer. And basically, what we're doing is we're taking. So when you're in the fasting community, in the fasting world, or just like the health world, there's all these different apps that you'll use. One Plate, Fasting Circle, something to track your numbers, that your sugar and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, let's just put all of the tools people use in one place. And not only that, let's enhance it with the knowledge that AHA brings to the table, and really guide people on how to not just lose weight and reverse disease, but do it in an efficient way. Because like what I learned was there's a lot of misinformation out there. What, like, should we eat this? Is it good to eat kale? Is it good to eat steak? Like what's right? People are very confused. They don't know like what's right. So it's going to have a fasting tracker on there. So like if you like to fast with a group, you could fast in a group, and you could fast at the same time, the same 24 hours, same 72 hours. Y'all can support each other. You're going to have an open line of communication, because with fasting, anybody who's done it, they know, like, you start wondering, like, why am I doing this? Maybe a day or a few hours in, depending on who you are, like, man, why am I doing this? It's so much easier when you have a group that you're working with and you're all on the same journey. One of the really cool things we did maybe about 2 years ago, we had a competition with the group. We called it the Biggest Loser. And basically, it was the person who lost the most weight in a given period of time. And we just had a lot of fun. There was cash prizes. We're like, well, shoot, let's integrate that into the app. Kind of like if y'all have heard of Healthy Wage or anything like that, we're going to have an ability for you to not just get the physical and the mental benefits of getting healthy, but you'll be able to earn money while you lose weight as well. One of my personal favorite features is our body scan feature. So most of us, when we do this weight loss journey, it's very motivational when we have those before and after pictures, right? That's what y'all were talking about. Wouldn't it be cool if you could literally do a 3D scan of your body, get all your readings? You'll know what your neck, with the inches of your neck, the inches on your wrist, the inches around your waist. And as you're losing weight, you could see that 3D rendering shrink. and we're gonna make it like a bit multi, so you could dress it up, you know, put your hairstyles on it, things like that. So we're gonna have a lot of fun
Yes.
with
Is
that.
that link, the link right here at the bottom of the screen, is that link still accurate for you, Chris?
Yes, that link is accurate.
Mr. Chris,
I have
this legacy,
one more.
I haven't said much tonight. I was just learning a lot, and let's talk a little bit more about Dr. Sadie because I like Dr. Sadie. And how did you go about? You know, have you ever met him? Did you go over and visit him? Things of that nature. Let's talk about him and his healing process and how he went to court and I think he took over what it was 40 or 75 different court to prove that his healing process of natural herbs and things was actually a way of curing HIV.
Yeah. So Dr. Sabi was I don't want to say he was before his time. I think we've always needed a Dr. Sabi, right? So he's always been here. He's always been around. It's really just I feel like Dr. Sabi represents us remembering who we are and where we came from. You know, he talked a lot about his mother and really nature, you know, and going back to the herbs. And so him and his wife, um, Ma'a, they developed these herbal formulas to assist the body in detoxification. And so a lot of the diseases that man will tell you are incurable, it's not that they're incurable, it's that using Western medicine methods, they don't have an option. So when you have stage 4 lymphatic cancer and they say there's nothing more we could do, they're not saying that it's impossible for you to heal. They're just saying that they don't have the tools to help you. And then at that point, that's when you start seeking a Dr. Sabi. So he would get those people that were told, "Hey, there's nothing I could do for you." And through the herbs, all the herbs are doing is once again is stimulating the body to have a detoxification effect. So I thought it was funny. Earlier, I can't remember which one of the ladies was saying, talking about eating and dying from eating, but Dr. Sabi tells this story. He was really, really sick. He was impotent. I think he was going blind. Like he had a lot of problems. He was overweight, and he goes down to Mexico, and the guy tells him to stop eating. He said, "Are you crazy? I can't stop eating. I'm gonna die." He said, "Are you crazy?"
That part.
He said, "You're no crazy one," And so Dr. Sabi did a 90-day fast. He did a 90-day fast, lost 90 pounds, reversed all of the major ailments he had at that time, and it opened up his mind.
90-day
Well,
Chris, let me ask you a question. Back to Dr. Sabi. So I'm pretty sure you heard and read about the trial that he had.
Yeah.
Why is it that a doctor? Well, my thought process on it is that, I know that we're fighting against what is called big pharmaceutical, and by Dr. Sabi being able to naturally cure individuals, they brought him before a trial. And those individuals, I think it was like 40 or 70 people that came that was once upon a time that said they had cancer and HIV, because at first the government was disputing the fact that he actually cured individuals. And those individuals that he cured came back and they testified and gave another blood test or whatever to prove that they were then, after dealing with Dr. Sabi, cured of HIV and cancers. And then ironically, once that was proven in court and he won, and then eventually he was arrested and was thrown in the jail. And the same gentleman that is helping people cure themselves naturally of herbs and things like that, died of a sickness in jail. Does that sound feasible for a man who knows how to cure other people to die of a cold or a sickness being incarcerated?
No,
It's a conspiracy.
it's you know, there's I've listened to so many siblings and children and people in his family, people close to him. I've listened to as many of the stories as I can, and it's not 100% one side or the other. Some are saying there was no foul play, some were saying there's definitely foul play. So it's hard to really decipher. What I can say is either one of two things that I saw. Either Dr. Sebi was not taking care of himself, which is completely plausible, because what happens when you are healing and helping other people, you're so focused on everybody else, you don't take care of yourself. And I've heard Sebi say out of his own mouth that he neglected himself. So either he was neglectful to himself and he allowed his immune system to be compromised, or you know, there was foul play. I think those are really the only two options there. And
Okay.
The reality is they could not have allowed him to release the cure for cancer or the cure for HIV because it would kill the pharmaceutical companies. They couldn't allow the information to be released.
But let me say this. I remember following these stories, right? And it's just starting to be a problem to me because I'm noticing the pattern. Nipsey Hussle picked up Dr. Sebi's journey and he wanted to publish a movie about Dr. Sebi and what he was doing. Ironically, Nipsey died.
right.
Then after that, Nick Cannon said that he would also pick up where Nipsey left off and went about his business. And then all of a sudden, there's a public demise of Nick Cannon because they say he followed Minister Farrakhan. So they said that he was actually backing Farrakhan on an anti-Semitic show, and he was basically supporting it. So he had to be castrated before the world. Now Nick Cannon no longer has a voice. They've silenced him because everybody that has ever thought about, especially introducing holistic and natural herb healings to the United States and the other nations, they end up dying or they be decapitated before the world, to where people or try to make it seem like because these people are not American or westernized doctors, that they don't understand medicine. So maybe you've been going against the journey and seeing, or going with the journey and understanding it. And do you think that I'm wrong for even thinking like that?
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and I'm sure they've done worse than what we see. Now, what I will say is, I did hear whispers of Dr. Sebi manufacturing a product. There was a product that he was working on, and I don't know exactly what the product was, but I think it was going to have a very great impact on like alcohol abuse and just using alcohol. It was something that he was working on that was going to be a disruptor in that industry where people are drinking a lot. And of course, we like the way the alcohol makes us feel, but it's extremely bad for us, right? So imagine if I manufacture a product that can give you the good without the bad. And that was kind of the whispers I was hearing, that he was creating some type of product like that. I don't know if it was necessarily a health product or whatever the case is, but that was apparently on the agenda, as well as he had a desire to create wellness centers in every major city, right? Like, so Usha Village would have an explosion of locations across the world. And of course, you know what he was doing at Usha Village, the type of healing people were getting. So imagine if every major city in America had a Usha Village where they were growing the herbs, they understood the body, how to heal, you know, a lot of these diseases, what that would do. So he had some really big plans, and I could see why he would need to be removed.
Now, Chris,
Um,
how would you, you know, being in that same field that Dr. Sebi was in, um, do you feel as if you got the right exposure? And that was, you know, the way of life of Dr. Sebi, you're doing the same thing, and you were to start carrying on a tradition and you start to do the things that Dr. Sebi is talking about. And by you being directly here in the United States, do you feel that too much exposure of what it is that you're trying to do? That, especially because you sound like you're saying Dr. Sebi is pretty much one of your teachers about this holistic life. That, you know, let's say your book take off and people start following, and now people are reaching out to you trying to get that information, and they're following you the same way they did Dr. Sebi and thing. Are you somewhat concerned and nervous that if it blows up to that point, that you could be next to be out of here?
No. I was raised in the church, and one of the things that stuck with me was the fact that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So what that means is, especially as I start to grow and learn, what that means is, as long as I believe that what I'm doing is righteous, like I'm on the right path, and I'm not focused. I'm not focused on the enemy and the what could happen. As long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm good. I'm not. I just. It's not something that crosses my mind. It's not something I'm worried about. And also, I will say that I have studied many leaders in history who were for our community, and I looked at where did they go wrong, where did they fail, you know. And what I have come to understand is that the problem is that they all are the head of the snake, right? When you look at our leaders in history, they're the head of the snake, meaning once you kill them, the whole movement it just flaps and dies. I will not be the head of a snake. What I'm doing is I'm empowering individuals with real tools that they could use in their personal life so that each individual person becomes their own leader. And there's no killing that. So once that energy is put out there, once I put out there like how to teach, how to do it, because like a lot of us, we don't know. So we're going to someone else to be like, yo, give me a product and give me a path that I can, walk. But if I teach you how to fish, you could kill me, but the work's already been done.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. This is my last question because I've been asking a lot of questions. Just to go back to the fasting. Is there a difference, in your opinion, between the water fast and a dry fast as far as the results? Do you recommend a water fast over a dry fast?
Is there a
explain what the difference is for
So the water fast is when you drink water, just water, and the dry fast is when you don't eat or drink anything.
Right.
Yeah, the difference is massive, actually. Most people will agree that dry fasting is 3 times more effective than water. So when you've experienced water fasting, so you know the effectiveness. To say that dry fasting is 3 times more effective that's a pretty big statement. But they're two different processes. Okay, so earlier we talked about inflammation and can fasting help with inflammation? Absolutely. Dry fasting annihilates inflammation. because when you stop, oh yeah, it annihilates it. When you stop taking water in, the body has to shift gears, right? And now it's like, okay, where can we get water from? Now, the human body is mostly water,
Right.
especially when you consider the cells. Like we're 99% water, so we're full of water. But remember, the body's been holding on to water, which is you got all this inflammation, so it starts releasing this water, this inflammation that you've got, around your organs and your joints and wherever, because you're not taking water in by mouth anymore. And so you lose a lot of weight. Now, one thing that people don't realize is the most weight you lose, like when you lose 100 pounds, you're not pooping out 100 pounds. You know what I mean? Most of the weight, if you pay attention to when you lose weight overnight. You lose weight while you're sleeping. So why is that? It's because the weight actually comes out through your breath. That's how you lose most of your weight. And what is that? That's in the form
breath.
of
You said breath.
Your breath.
Well, hold on. I didn't. I'm just saying, Chris. For real.
Your breath. Right. And
Let
so
me
when
start
you
deep
consider your
breathing.
breath, when you consider your breath, it's comprised of water. It's water vapor.
Hold on.
Wow.
Before we go any further, I was sometimes supposed to show it at the beginning of the hour, but I don't want to lose focus. And then we get right back, because I have a question actually.
Okay.
Just want to remind everybody that our intro music and the intro song was done by Justin out of Valdosta, Georgia. So if anybody wants a beat of music or a song or whatever, reach out to Justin. He's on Instagram. Definitely reach out to Justin. Also, just to remind everybody also that the month of March is National Women's History Month. So we're going to feature tonight our two beautiful women on our panel, Miss TeAma and Miss T Savage. That's them all dolled up. Our two co-hosts. And I have a before and after picture of TJ. That's a before and after picture of TJ. When Chris was talking about before and after pictures, so it looked like that was his little brother.
Good, man.
Listen, I know TJ from somewhere. You look so familiar to me, too.
I do too.
Walgreens.
Exactly.
Yes. Is it the one that was on Palm Station Australian?
Broadway.
No, Blue Aaron.
Blue Aaron?
Broadway.
No, that's not where I know you from, man. It's somewhere else.
But my question to you, Chris, is like, for example, we have a friend of ours that has fibromyalgia. I have high blood pressure. I personally have tried the water fasting, and I've done probably 4 days. And after that, kind of lost my mind. It's like, okay.
Start hallucinating, right? Did you hallucinate like I did?
Did I? Oh my God.
Flying cheeseburgers. What's happening?
So my thing is, like, I remember when I was speaking to my physician, and he was saying, because I have high blood pressure, he said, give it a try. And my physician, by the way, is Asian, so they believe in the natural herbs and natural healing. So he kind of knew where I was coming from. So he was like, okay, go ahead and give it a try. But if you feel yourself getting weak or whatever, try something like almonds, cashews, natural nuts, not the salted or the sugar or the sauteed in butter, just natural nuts. The seeds you were talking about earlier.
Natural nuts.
Chia seeds.
And you're a mess, Legacy. Chia seeds. He said, same thing. Put it in your water. Drink the chia seeds or whatever. But that's gonna put something in your body. He said, but if you can, go ahead and just do the water as long as you can. Like I said, I did it for about 4, maybe 5 days. Now, because of the fact that I'm high blood pressure, and I do want to try it, and I am obese, I am overweight. our friend who's watching the show, because he was in the comment section earlier, who has fibromyalgia, also wants to be healed of it. And like I was telling him, usually when there's a sickness in the body, that's an inflammation of something or mucus of something, so you got to get rid of that to get rid of what it is. So what would you recommend for the both of us?
Well, it's a big question, because people diseases manifest themselves differently for different people.
Right.
So it could be an inflammation thing. It could be that simple. Changing the diet, fasting, changing the frequency of what you eat. It could also be an energetic problem. So we talked earlier about how fasting is spiritual, it's energetic, it's physical. You can't separate it. Sometimes we hold on to negative energy, trauma, and things like that manifest themselves as diseases. So those are kind of the two routes that you may have to take, but you could certainly start with fasting and diet. And the best way to do it is most people don't do any type of preparation when they start fasting. You see the results someone else has, and you just want to jump out and have the same results they have. But it's kind of illogical, because if I said, yo, you like boxing? You're like, yeah, I love boxing. I'm gonna get into the ring one day. We wouldn't expect you to get in the ring the next day with a professional boxer. We would expect that there would be training, some dietary regimens, you know what I mean? Like, you would prepare yourself to get into the professional ring. Why is it different with fasting? Why do we feel like we've been eating every day for our entire life, and all of a sudden we're going to get in the ring with Mike Tyson? So preparation is key. And that's actually one of the things that I teach in my academy. So I have a fasting academy I developed because people are just excited. They just want to get results as quick as possible. But there's some preparation mentally and physically that you need to do in order to increase your chances of being successful. So
where can we find the academy?
The AHA fastingacademy.com.
One
more time.
It's a subscription service. And basically what I did was I took the culmination of all the knowledge I had at the time, and I put it in a comprehensive format on the academy. So you go through the videos and stuff. I've got over 24 hours of video on there, and we've put some quizzes in there. And I've put it in a very easily digestible format. So if you're interested in losing a quick 30 pounds, I have a course on there called 30 Pounds in 30 Days. That's a really good course to get started with. It helps you get the weight off, helps give you the motivation. You're going to start seeing your numbers normalize. And then the hope is you're interested now. Because you see
AHA fasting.
AHAfastingacademy.com. So once you get that little taste, you're like, okay, I could do this. And I lay it out really simple for you. It's baby steps. You know what I mean? This is just a gradual thing. We're not just jumping in head first. And then from there, you could learn more. You could learn about the different fasting techniques. I actually have a whole class. It's a master class I do on hydration and water. Yo, I'm telling y'all, what I told you today about water it's the tip of the iceberg. I actually teach a class. I'll go 2 hours talking about water. There's so much to learn about it. And the thing that we really don't get, we are water.
Yes.
So we have to learn how to hydrate better and take better care of our body.
That's one of the things I admired so much about you, because in my following, because I've been following you for a couple of years, and in my following you and looking at your videos, looking at your talkings, looking at your lectures, and you have a passion for people, for helping people, and wanting to be I'm going to say a leader, but someone that gives good information, good advice. You want to heal the world, basically. and I like that about you. And like I said, I've been following you for quite some time, and I was watching one of your videos, and you're like, you never got into this for the money, but dude, you're remarkable. You are so remarkable. I've heard some of the, like I said, just from these two young ladies here. I've heard the testimonies, and not from just these two, but other people on various of your videos. Is like, wow, he's making a change. He is definitely making an impact in a lot of people's lives. And I'm definitely going to check out this AHAFastingAcademy.com because, like I said, I personally, like I said, I don't want to be stricken with high blood pressure for the rest of my life. I'm 53 years old. I'm at the age now where aches and pains and everything's starting to set in, and that's not good. But I do know that holistically, that stuff can be reversed. And I just had to have you on the show because, like I said, you're amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It's my pleasure. Anytime that I could talk to a group of people, I'm there. Like you said, I say all the time, yeah, I didn't get into it for the money. The beautiful thing about it is when you walk in purpose, the money comes. Like that was my thing. Like I found my passion in life. I always knew it was going to be centered around helping people, but this is far beyond what I imagined. But it's beautiful because you find something that you love to do. You never work another day in your life. Like this is technically work for me, but I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. Like this is great. So
especially with these two crazy young ladies right here.
I'm not even gonna lie, Chris. Like I just got remotivated, so I'm trying to decide should I do a dry fast or a water fast because I like to eat ice. So I'm over here debating. I just got my ice maker back today. So I'm like, do I do a dry fast or do I do the water fast? Like,
right. You know what? Step one is prep. Get your body prepared for whichever route, dry or water. Hydration is going to be key. So I always teach at least a 7-day prep, but I mean, honestly, the more you prep, the better. And the other thing is this. Yeah, it's jump out. You can knock out some weight with the fasting. You can even reverse some disease pretty quick with fasting. But then what? Like what happens after you finish? Do you go back?
Change your lifestyle.
Huh?
You have to change your lifestyle.
Got to change your lifestyle. So part of the prepping is teaching you how to eat. Like that's part of it. So people think it's I want to get out. I want to get these results. You will get results. My prep, you'll get, you'll lose a couple pounds a week on the prep easily. My brother Steve, he does consulting and coaching and works with people, and he gave one of his clients a prep regimen, and she lost 5 pounds just off prep week. That's how powerful the information that we teach. As a matter of fact, my brother and we actually developed a program together because like I'm more of the I guess analytical, logical brain, and Steve is more of the energetic, spiritual, mental side. And so we decided to kind of put our two heads together, and we created what's called the 40-day wellness program. That's actually a program that we just recently relaunched because we take a small group of people, 15 people, and we work with them over the span of 40 days. And we identify, so the other side of the coin, when I was talking about sometimes it's a physical thing you're dealing with, sometimes it's a mental or energetic thing. We deal with the mental and the energetic things that cause us to overeat. Like we all know we need to eat and eat right and be healthy, drink more water. Why don't we do it? Or why do we start dieting and then we get distracted and we get off? Why do we turn to food when we're dealing with stressors in our life, whether it's relationship or money or that customer just said the wrong thing and you go and turn to food? Like, why is that? That's all conditioning. So we get the shovel and we break that ground and we start digging and we're like, okay, when you were a child, Your mom used to tell you before you can have dessert, you better eat everything on your plate.
Yeah.
You're being conditioned to overeat from when you was a child.
That's
When
true.
you get sick, you don't want to eat. You got the flu or whatever, you don't want to eat, but your mom tell you, yo, you got to eat this to keep your strength up. You're being conditioned to eat when you don't feel good, when you do feel good. If it's a wedding or a funeral, we eating. If we're hanging out with the girls, we hanging out with the fellas, we're eating. We eat every chance we get. So we have to shine that mirror back at you and be like, look, you eat 16 times a day. That's the reason why you can't figure this out. And now, why are you using food as a coping mechanism? What are you holding on to?
You're supposed to eat to live, but sometimes I feel like I live to eat. Like talking about this fasting and stuff. I had a piece of cake waiting on me. I might have to pass up on the cake and get my mind right.
That's why I told y'all, make sure you have y'all water. Chris is coming.
Look, my cup is empty. I done ate all my ice and drunk all my water.
You know the most powerful thing that you could do? You got a piece of cake or you got maybe a bag of chips or whatever. You just bought it. You about to open it. Throw it in the trash can. Just throw it away. It's not food. It's not food. It's not.
You just killed 2 people on the panel. You just killed 2.
Look, over and out.
I watched my brother. I don't know if y'all are familiar with my brother's story, but it's powerful. I highly recommend it. His name is Steven. He's been on the show since 2017, and you could literally see the ups and downs of his journey all the way up into present day. And more recently, he moved to Dallas, where I live, and he started fasting back in like the end of September, maybe October. And he'll have certain days where he eats. If he has any food left over, he don't care. He throws it away. He doesn't save it. He doesn't try and nibble on it. He don't try to stuff it all in his mouth at the last moment, because he understands that if he keeps that food around, that's temptation. Why? Yeah. If you're addicted to heroin, why would you put yourself in situations where people are using the drug? Why would you have it in your house?
Got it in a drawer. Yeah.
If you're addicted and you know you're trying to get off of it. So you gotta treat food like it is an addiction, because it is. It's a drug. That piece of cake literally has enough chemical in it to kill you. The only reason you don't die is because of the intelligence of the body. The body is amazing at what it does.
But I really had like a reality check when I first started to fast, because I didn't realize how much of my life depended on food. Like I'd be eating breakfast and be thinking, okay, well, what am I going to eat for lunch? What am I going to eat for dinner? Like, you eating breakfast, why are you worried about lunch and dinner? So yeah, you don't realize how much your life.
She did intimate fasting. I remember she was counting down the hours.
No. That was with the OMAD, the 1 meal a day. I was like, okay, my time is 4 o'clock. It's 3:57. I got 3 minutes, girl. 3 minutes. But food. I didn't realize how much of my life revolved around food. It really is an addiction.
All of us.
Let me expand on that a little bit. We all wonder why we can't get ahead in life. Now, you got the same 24 hours a day that Bill Gates has, that Jay-Z has, that anybody else that you may look at like, man, that dude, he's wealthy, he's doing well. Like, we all got the same 24 hours. Why is it that we struggle in our relationships, in our finances, or otherwise? What are you spending your energy on? The most valuable thing you could do is pay attention. Your time and your energy, it's the most valuable thing that you have. So you just told me you eating breakfast and you're paying attention. You're paying your energy towards lunch.
I'm so same.
I cannot. This girl crazy.
It's like, what am I gonna eat next? What are we having for dinner tonight? And then don't listen. It's not just eating the food. You have to go to the store. You have to buy the food. You have to prepare the food. You have to eat it. You have to clean up. Then you got to get on the toilet, right? When you look at the amount of time that we spend on food, yeah, I can see why you would be shocked when you start fasting. You're like, man, I got all this. What do I do with all this time I got?
Mm-hmm.
What I suggest you do with your fasting, pick a hobby, pick a project. What I did was I turned my energy towards research. That's how I absorbed so much so quick. You know, I made research in my full-time job. The other crazy thing about fasting is you'll get this fasting energy. Some people call it fasting insomnia because you're not using all that energy to digest food. You have more energy, so you don't sleep as long. And people be trying to fight it. They're like, Chris, should I take something to help me go to sleep? No. Go read a book, right? You just gained an extra hour or 2 hours out of your day. Go do something productive with your time. Don't sit there and fight sleep. Like, go do something with your time.
Right.
Yeah, Legacy just started a workout regimen. He just started going to the gym. He bringing sexy back for the 2021.
But you know, Chris,
And
when I
lost 10 pounds
started,
already.
it's 14 now, and I go
I
every
thought one of
day.
your chins was gone.
Huh?
I thought I saw a missing chin. One of your chins gone.
You got it. You got it.
Oh, I got it right here. And still can pull. Period.
Wow. But Chris, I started back because I used to go almost 5 days a week before COVID hit. And I usually go to the gym in West Palm over here in Riviera Beach called Wells and Wells Parks and Recreation. And the reason I love going there so much because it looks dingy and grimy, and I like being in those type of atmosphere when I'm working out because I don't like the lights and all that, but it makes me work out better like that. But it closed down and it's still closed at this moment. But so I had a situation to where I went from being 185 to 222 during the pandemic. And
Chris
I never forget.
Chris, he's only 5 feet tall.
He's only what?
He's only 5 feet tall. Go ahead, Legacy.
Did you hurt his feelings and he left that?
You think he couldn't hear me?
Mm-hmm. Blame it on the sound. So, yeah.
She say so.
I'm trying not to keep asking a bunch of questions because I keep thinking of questions.
If you got him there, you better ask the question so you don't be calling the
Okay.
ask
Last question, Chris. Eating ice. How does eating ice? Is eating ice okay? Is that effective? When I say I eat ice, like I wake up and I take a cup to work, then I have a freezer bag full at work, so I always have ice with me.
All right,
but I'm not sure is that a good idea during the fast. I know you can't do it for the dry fast, but is there such thing as too much ice?
You're gonna make me hurt your feelings.
No, never mind. I take it back.
You gonna make me listen. It's all
anemic.
good.
I'm anemic, so I crave it.
Yeah, I understand. You could eat ice, but I will tell you, since you asked me, I'll tell you what's up. When you chew, you are sending a signal to your brain that you're eating, and the brain is going to move accordingly. So the goal and the benefit of fasting is allowing the digestive system to rest as completely as possible. When you chew and you telling your brain that you're eating, it starts preparing to digest food. And so it does certainly detract. What How much does it affect you? It's probably negligible. I don't know. I can't really quantify it, but yeah.
I hurt all her
But
feelings.
no, you good. Go ahead and keep on doing your ice. You're all right.
Just do water. Just do ice water and drink your water.
It's hard to drink a cup of cold water with the ice in it because I just want to swallow the water real quick and chew on the ice. It's just a habit, but
Well, then,
I'm gonna make my decision by the night about if I'm gonna do the wet or the dry, water or the dry.
We'll focus on getting rid of the anemia.
Right.
And then that way you don't have to worry about the ice.
Right. And I learned a lot from you tonight.
Website. I think we all need to go on your website tonight before we go to bed.
I'm already on it on my backup phone because I'm listening to you about the information.
I can help you out. Month to month is $29.99, or you might as well just do the whole year for the $240.
$240. I already seen them numbers, honey. The inflammation, like I learned a lot from you just now because I have to get the CAT scan. They say my colon might be inflamed. Well, I might as well just do my fast and uninflame the colon. And if you say dry, it's 3 times as effective as wet. I'm gonna eat all the ice I can digest and then make a conscious decision to do the dry fast.
Let's be crystal clear, Anya.
I'm gonna call you, so you might as well just get used to it.
It's way harder than the water.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, when I was fasting, I would go to your Facebook page where the group is, and I would post my feelings, and a few people would respond and encourage me. And I love that about your groups. I love that. When you get discouraged, go in a group. When you feel some type of way, go in a group. If you have a question or you need a suggestion about something you want to put into your diet or your OMAD or your intermittent, go in a group. Somebody gonna know something. Very resourceful.
Facts. It's the self-proclaimed the most positive group on Facebook, and that's saying something because Facebook is a cesspool. But
yes, it is.
It's a very positive group, and and it's actually really good to be honest and be like, all right, y'all, look, I'm on this fast. I slipped up, or I'm looking at this cupcake or whatever. Like, what should I do? Help me. They'll help you. It's
okay, by the boatload, your phone to be digging
you can do it. You got this, girl. You can do it. Put that cupcake down. Go get you some water.
The best cheerleaders
get you some almonds. They always suggested nuts. Get you some nuts, salt free. Get you some almonds. The protein to fill you up. Or yes, it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. One word of warning, since I feel like you're leaning towards dry fasting. It's very important that you understand the full process. So we don't separate the fast from the refeed. That is all one thing. You need to understand both of them before you go into it. And refeeding is literally a period of time that you designate where you're going to allow your body to adjust to digesting food again. That's very important. And with the dry fast, you have an extra step. So when you come off your dry fast, you do a water fast. Like you come off your dry fast with water.
Into the water. It's progress, like step by step, because I think the first time I did it, I immediately ate and I was just sick. I was sick because I hadn't been eating. So dry fast, and then once it's over, gradually go into the water, and then gradually go into maybe smoothies, and then ease into solid food, right?
Yep.
Just make sure it's the right solid food, not a piece of fried chicken. Got it.
Yes. Save the chicken until after your refeed.
Wow. 2 hours have flown by before I knew it.
That was amazing. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. We definitely appreciate you coming. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed you. TJ, if you're still listening or if you're still watching, wherever, because you fell off. Hey, Sam.
Chris, have you ever known any pregnant people to fast? Shut up, Tony and Anya.
I ain't saying nothing because Chris the expert on this one. Because the reality is the baby gonna eat everything they need from you anyway.
Have you ever known of someone that's pregnant to go on a fast?
Oh, y'all gonna get me in trouble. See, I'm gonna keep it real.
Yes, let's go.
We had a lady in our group who fasted. I want to say that she fasted throughout her entire pregnancy, on and off, right? Not just 9 months of fasting, but
or say she ain't dead.
she utilized fasting the entire time, and she had my blessing. Here's the thing. I have so many women come to me and be like, yo, Chris, the doctor said I'm infertile. I'm like, the doctor? Who's the doctor? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're there. Do you still have your equipment? If you still got your equipment, then we can repair the damage and you can have a child if that's what you desire. So we'll use fasting to help you become fertile again. Now, why is it that fasting is okay to use to help create the environment for you to be fertile and to conceive? But now when you have the baby, now that you start growing the baby, now it's dangerous to do it. That doesn't even make sense. The same thing that helped you get to a place where you could conceive, now all of a sudden it's dangerous because you're pregnant. So
now you're not gonna eat till the baby get here.
Here's the reason why. Here's the reason why people think that you can't fast when you're pregnant, or you can't allow your children to fast or whatever. It's because they don't understand our true energy source. See, people think that we get our energy from food, but if you let's say it's Thanksgiving and Big Mama done made her famous greens and turkey and macaroni and cheese and you enjoying every morsel. The next thing you want to do is unbutton that top button
and lean back.
By the time you get the button knocked out, you sleep.
Yeah.
Now, tell me the logic behind this. You just ate the biggest meal of the year, and food's supposed to give you energy, but you sleep.
Because you're eating the wrong food.
Not only are you eating the wrong foods, but the actual process of digesting food takes energy from your resources, right? Mm-hmm. So our true energy source is really the sun. So look at it like this.
Indeed.
The plants that we're supposed to be eating, like the fruit and stuff that we're supposed to eat, how does a plant manufacture fruit? It condenses sunlight through photosynthesis. That's all it's doing. It condenses sunlight. We eat the sunlight. So it's a supplementation for sunlight. That's all fruit is. We're supposed to be outside in the sun. We're not supposed to be in buildings and cars and, inside all day. That's why everybody has a vitamin D deficiency, because we're supposed to be in the sun. Right. So when you understand where your true energy comes from, it's not about eating food, Now, let me be clear. We do need to eat food because guess what? We aren't getting energy from the sun like we're supposed to. We're not connected to the earth. So we do need that supplementation. But you don't need nearly as much nutrition as they teach you. If you got extra 40 pounds on you, you can fast for the next 6 months. Your body will be fine. The body
have it.
A dry fast or water?
No, you're not gonna do no dry fast.
No, you can't do it.
Thanks for the face, Chris. Thanks for the face.
Not for no 6 months. Dry fasting is intense.
So what's the longest time you recommend a person doing a dry fast?
That's a good question. First of all, with fasting in general, the minimum time that you really want to get to is 3 days. You want to fast for at least 3 days, whether it's dry or water.
Right.
When it comes to dry fasting, what I usually tell people is when your mouth starts to dry up and you really start to feel, you're gonna feel really weak. That's about time to break it. It might be different. It might be different days for different people. For me, I would get to about 6 days, and that's when I was ready to stop. My brother Steve, he just knocked out. I think he did 10 days. I think he did 10 or 11 days. You know, so it really just depends on you. What's your workload look like? Because in modern society, we have families, we got children, husbands, we got jobs, whatever. So you got to take into consideration your outside stressors, because fasting is not, it's not just a walk in the park.
No,
I tell people to look at it like your body's performing light surgery. You wouldn't go and have a surgery and then go do some exercise later on, right? So if you could give your body some time to rest and kind of just chill, like if you went on a little personal retreat, then you could probably do it a little bit longer. But you really just want to pay attention to your body, pay attention to your energy levels. And if your mouth starts to dry up, that's a good indicator to go ahead and start drinking.
I remember there was a guy that was following you a while back. His channel was The Incredible Fat Man or Losing Fat Man or something like that.
The Fasting Fat Man.
Yeah, he had lost like, oh my God, like TJ, a lot. And he did his fast for, was it 100 days or 100?
I think it was 150 days. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Was it water?
Yes, the water fast.
How much did he lost? 200 pounds off of water fast?
He lost a human just like TJ, a whole human.
Yeah. He lost an overweight human, I think. He lost like 200. It might have been 240.
He lost a fat person.
Yeah. He also did a little something extra in his water. I think he did like some minerals or something in his water too.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Wow. Well, I personally don't have any more questions. I don't know if TeAma or T Savage have any more. We lost Legacy.
He did it for me. He told me everything I need to know.
Yeah, I think I did my 22,000 questions. I think you all questioned that.
Where can they find you? Because you're in Dallas. The person I was telling you about with the fibromyalgia, he's actually in Dallas. So I'm gonna tell him to reach out to you personally. But where can they find you if they want to reach out to you other than your website right here?
You got it, man. AHA. You can also email me, Chris at ahealthyalternative.org. And I want to encourage y'all. So for those who are interested in really like, if you're ready for transformation, like you've been struggling, yo-yoing, whatever the case may be, but you're ready. You just need that path, that motivation, that knowledge. I would say right now we've got the 40-day wellness program just opened up. It's the perfect time because we still got plenty of slots left, and we don't have it open all the time. But it's a really powerful program. So if you're dealing with something life-threatening or something that you've been going back and forth with, or whatever the case is, or maybe you're looking for something beyond just weight loss and you're really interested in like healing some mental trauma and energetic trauma, I would highly recommend checking out the program. And you can learn more about that if you go to the website, ahealthyalternative.org. And we have just hit the consultation tab and then schedule what's called a wellness call. It's a free wellness call. And that way you all can have the opportunity to learn more about that program.
Okay. Anything else, anybody?
I just want to say
so much for coming on.
My name is T Savage on this podcast, but my name is Anya in real life. So if you get an inbox from Anya, that's me.
All right. I'll do my best to remember. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. Scratch that. Don't go on the website to learn about the 40-day wellness program. Just email me, Chris at ahealthyalternative.org. Just send me an email and tell me you're interested. I forgot we don't have the link on there anymore.
Okay. We appreciate you so much, Chris. It really
Definitely.
It's my pleasure.
You are just a plethora of information. I tell you.
I got it, man.
Yeah. On that note, good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. Chris, I really appreciate you. As always, I appreciate my two beautiful co-hosts, T Savage, TeAma, and my so fresh, so clean co-host Legacy the Great, who I guess lost the signal. And TJ, if you're out there, like I said, I appreciate you for coming on. So on that night, good night, everybody.
My nigga 2 for the goat, these other niggas basic.
Say what? No nigga wrist a silver chain around the neck. Say what? A.T.L show coming for they neck. Say what? We gon' say it all different from the rest. Say what? A.T.L show, know that we the best. Say what? Yeah, who was that? A.T.L show coming live, speak about the world, know that we is still. We got Anthony, TeAma, Legacy, the podcast. On God, we're taking over with the A.T.L show.
My nigga 2 for the goat, these other niggas basic.
Say what? No nigga wrist a silver chain around the neck. Say what? A.T.L show coming for they neck. Say what? We gon' say it all different from the rest. Say what? A.T.L show, know that we the best. Say what? Yeah, who was that? A.T.L show coming live, speak about the world, know that we is still. We got Anthony, TeAma, Legacy, the podcast. On God, we're taking over with the A.T.L show.